here. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Full Spectrum Podcast. My name is Trey.
I am Rungren.
We got some good stuff to talk about today.
Yes, you
First
do.
off, want to throw out a quick reminder. Reviews are back this week, which means on this side of the screen, over next to Rungren, you will see an ice cream scoop. Your name can be there. You see that. Your name could be here. All you have to do is guess the correct scores when we get to our review game, which we do every time we have reviews. And we'll very excitedly get to that soon. But before that, we do have some fun stuff to come up for the night. We have a new layout change for everything, so please, hopefully everybody enjoys that. But before any of that, let's talk weeks. Rungren, how's your week been?
Actually, been pretty good. We're working on music quite a bit. Put up another video over on Rumble.
Yeah.
And got it out. We'll put the lyric video out for it next Monday. I'm not very quick with all the new technologies, but it's coming along. I did still working on the Darkest Rising series, reading those.
Yeah.
I was reading the third one. It's Greenwitch. It's kind of short in the series. Let's see if I can see it from here. Did I move it? I don't know. No, there they are. Yeah, it's definitely the shortest one of the series, and it kind of goes back to a lot of the characters from the first book, maybe the second one. So it's coming along well.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the story. I don't remember. It's been so long since I read it, because like seriously, I was like 4th, 5th grade when I read it originally. I think this book is really short, but I think this is where like all the main characters now come together.
Yeah.
Now they've each had their own book. Spirited Away has been on a lot.
Yeah.
Another Studio Ghibli movie. Which it's going from
Kiki.
Yeah, from Kiki's Delivery Service, where it's great, right?
Yeah.
It's absolutely great. The art style, the world building, the story's not very deep. You know, and it ends on spoilers for Kiki's, I guess. Ends on she needs to believe in herself, right?
Right.
She's got to have the strength to pull back. But the character arc in Spirited Away,
Yeah.
who she is at the beginning and who she is at the end, for the main protagonist, they're two completely different people.
Yes, absolutely.
And one of the things I love in Spirited Away and the storytelling of it is there's almost a point, and I don't know where it would be. Somebody smarter than me could probably figure it out. But it's almost like there's a point in somewhere around the middle of the movie where there's almost like a mirror image of her.
Yeah.
And you get scenes that remind you of that, like when she tried to run down those stairs out the side when she first gets there.
Yeah.
She's terrified about doing that, and then there's a scene that corresponds directly to that when she's climbing up towards the end, where she goes straight across the like a water pipe.
Right.
She pulled up things and she takes off running down through it. So it was kind of cool watching these two movies back to back. How the art style is cleaner,
right?
In Spirited Away, and the storytelling is much deeper. And the world is as cool as the world is in Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yeah.
The world in Spirited Away is just on a whole other level.
Yeah.
To what they've done. And like I don't want to sound like I'm downing Kiki's Delivery Service. I'm
For sure.
not. It's definitely got its points, but it's enjoyable seeing that growth.
There's an interesting thing that I noticed with Ghibli movies, which is that like some of them have stellar writing, and the world is kind of interesting, but not like really explored. Some of them have an incredible world that is like fully explored, and you really get a feel for that, but the writing's not that great. And then some of them land just in like a middle area of the two.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think that Spirited Away is definitely in the positive on the writing, with some really interesting world building.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, there's lots of questions, um, um, that you have through Spirited Away that to
Yeah,
come up with your own answers because
right.
that's
I think Mononoke is much the same way, right? I mean, it's
which is my
incredible
favorite.
writing wise,
Which is my favorite.
but they don't
Look,
really explain much of anything.
no, no, they leave the mythology there really, really wide open in Mononoke, Princess
Yeah.
Mononoke,
Well, and
and
Porco Rosso is the same way. Porco Rosso, incredible writing. How did he get turned into a pig? It's literally never explained.
um, man, they have of a lot of movies.
Yeah. I think Tales from Earthsea is like the opposite, though, where the world building in Tales from Earthsea is so good, but the writing, I can't remember a character's name from Earthsea. I literally can't.
Or the dragon and the boy.
I can't remember any of their names.
Yeah, I can't either right now. I might have to check that one out again.
I need to watch it again, too.
We'll do that. But yeah, my hands down, my favorite is Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
I've got a Princess Mononoke tattooed
Yeah.
on my leg. So
I mean, it
better
has the
be.
Kodamas in it, so, you know.
Well, my girlfriend has the little spirits
Yeah.
tattooed as well. So
Fell asleep in Earthsea. That makes sense. I don't blame you. I get it. Raise the chat just a little. I see the issue. Slightly small.
there you go. All right,
There we go.
on the fly like that, hacker.
Back, we can
Got
still
this
do
hack.
There we go. That's still easily readable and looks okay. Well, you mentioned. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. What you got?
You mentioned that you were still reading your series. I did not continue reading Count of Monte Cristo, but not because I don't like it, but because there were some new chapters that came out for a manga that I really like, called The Apothecary, and I don't know if this is all going to fit here. The Apothecary is gonna make, and you know how light novel titles are, where it's got to have like everything capitalized. This ragged elf happy, and it's a series that starts out incredibly dark, and then slowly gets lighter as it goes, because the whole core of this series is that this apothecary is trying to make some medicine, and a guy that brings him ingredients brings him an elf woman that is in like terrible disarray, close to death, right? Because in this world, there's a superstition that elf ears can be used to create medicine. And so this apothecary is like, yeah, I'll buy her for sure. I'll buy her. Yeah. I need those ears. I'll buy her. And then as soon as he's clear of the guy, just immediately like rushes her back home and starts trying to give her treatment, trying to make her better. And the whole core of this is him trying to help her be a person again, even though she can barely speak, she can barely hear, she can barely see, because she's been used as a slave in every way. And he just is slowly trying to bring her happiness again, because he feels responsible since she was brought to him, you know? It's pretty good. I was really afraid where it was going, but the apothecary is a real good guy who just wants to help her out. And
I can understand.
I like it. I think it's really solid. But again, for anybody who's a little squeamish, they don't shy away from the details. And she's in bad shape in those first couple chapters. So just keep that in mind. If you're not okay with depictions like that, then you don't want to read this one. I like it.
Understandable. Go through that. You played anything this week?
I did play some stuff. I played some more Endwalker.
Yeah.
Go figure. Go figure. I am still loving Endwalker, of course. It's very, very good. It has somehow gotten even better in a way that I didn't expect. And for anybody who's like, man, Trey, it sure is taking you a long time to get through it. I know, but I want to do all the role quests before I complete it. So I have to level 5 classes to 85 and then keep leveling them as I go. But no, the story is just getting better and better and better. And It's by far the best expansion of the game, and I'm only level
Awesome.
87 on Sage. So out of 90, I'm almost there. I almost have the big laser. Sage at 90 gets a big laser that heals and hurts. So it heals your allies and hurts your enemies if it pierces them.
Okay.
And so then I'm just gonna be like
Yeah.
every time. It's
Yeah.
great.
I I would understand why.
I can't not. I have to. So, if all I'm saying is if you're in a party and you just see the sage like fire it and then not do anything for a second, it's because it's me and I'm going and then I have to put my hands back on the key. So, but no, it introduced a really cool new story beat that I think is gonna change things up a lot, and I really like it. And then the classes that I'm leveling to try and get all the role quests done are Paladin, Ninja, Sage, uh, Machinist, and Summoner. And man, what they did with Summoner is really cool.
All right.
Summoner was always a dot mage in this game,
Okay.
and instead they have now made it an actual Summoner where you don't even have dots anymore. You have a rotation that revolves around you summon Bahamut, because of course you do, and you have your
I
Bahamut
would.
phase, and then you
Yeah.
can summon either Garuda, Ifrit, or Titan.
Is it to work off combos now, kind
It
of?
does, yeah. So
Okay.
it rotates through them. Each of those three has their own abilities. You can use all three if you want. Then you summon Phoenix,
Okay.
and then when you finish Phoenix's rotation, you go back to Bahamut. It's the easiest rotation in the game to learn because it's literally just go boop, 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 boop. But it's
Okay.
fine because you're summoning Bahamut, Ifrit, Garuda, Titan, and Phoenix,
Well, that also
Bahamut
gives
shows
them.
up and his wings flow out, and then you get to fire Akmord.
Well, that also gives them options in the future.
Yeah,
One of the classes Lord of the Rings Online does well is the Warden,
yeah,
I believe, and it kind of works on the same thing. You build up. They call it a gambit, and you build up. You do depending on the order. Kind of
mm,
depends on the final blast.
right.
Your special move, and kind of build it up. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And based on around summoning, all right, it's really cool.
I will say, just as a reminder to everybody, you can adjust the size of summoner summons on your screen. It doesn't affect what the summoner sees, but it does affect yours. Because Titan is very big.
Yeah.
And when he comes up like this with his arms up, and he's huge. And I've had more than once that I've been healing in late game stuff, and Titan has like popped up directly in front of me as a healer, and I can't see the tank anymore. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where the AoEs are. All I can see is
No.
Titan's butt. But, it's still fun. But I've also been playing some new mobile games that are very strange mobile games for me to be playing. Like I like we talked about combat cards, right? I'm still playing combat cards. That's my kind of
Yeah.
thing, right? Collectible
More.
TCG. They just did like a new update to combat cards too, where a bunch of the cards had their abilities mixed up to try and make them be used more, which means that you can now use them in different decks, which is really cool. They did a battle pass for this last event that you can't buy upgrades for.
Ah.
And they did it in such a cool, because the way the events were done before, you would go to queue up for it, and you could only play with as many cards as you had the ability to use already, and only use the
Mhm.
cards that you already had, right?
Right.
But in this new event, they said, hey, this time we're gonna set your deck cost to like $3.99, $4.99, and $5.99 for the three tiers of the event. So even people that that are like level 4 can have high cost decks for this event. And also we're going to let you use these cards, and any cards that you use in this event are automatically going to be fully upgraded.
Okay.
So everybody's on the same playing field for the event.
Yeah. Then it becomes a matter of skill and knowing the game.
Which is so much better to me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. Yeah. That's nice because the pay to win is just everywhere, right?
It
And
is.
look, I'm kind of aggravated at Standing Stone right now because their new little plan that they put out to say was basically pay to win,
Yeah.
and the community kind of went no, and so it's on hold.
That's good. I'm glad they're reevaluating it.
Yeah, they need to take it down. I understand they got to make money with it. It's not, if they had the new graphics in
Yeah.
place and
It'd be worth it.
hardware on the back end, it would be to monetize close to that. It's still.
Yeah.
I'll try to catch up. Go ahead with these strange games you've been playing. Sir.
I downloaded a game called, I've got the names up here, so I make sure I got them right. I downloaded a game called Forest Island, which is a mobile game,
All right.
but it is an idle game. But it is an idle game where you are slowly rebuilding a forest on an island, go figure. And you do it by taking pictures of these animals that you invite to the island by gathering enough energy and hearts. And the more
Okay.
animals you have, the more hearts you get. You can access chests to get rare animals. And so I've got. It's kind of funny because, like, the wolves, there's foxes, right? And the rare animal is like a gray fox. And there's bunnies, and the rare animal is like a spotted bunny. But then with the deer, it's just does, and then the rare animal is the buck. So I guess male deer just barely exist in this world. But
Well,
I have hit a lot of them with my car, so
well, it's your fault then, sir.
yeah, I did this. I have to make it right. But no, it's just like a really cute little game where you rub the eggs to make them hatch with the birds, and then you get your animals, and they give you a mission like, "Hey, photograph the rabbits," and you click on it, and then you can like change the angle and take it, and then it just gives you a bunch of the in-game currency to be able to upgrade your stuff. Like, you know what? This is fun. I like this. This is cute. But not as cute as the other weird game that I've been playing, which is called Cats and Soup.
That's not usually a good mix, sir.
All one
you would have
word.
to explain to me.
All one
All
word. You start off with just a cat making soup. Just a cat in a glade in a forest, just making soup. And he's just making his
Where do
soup.
they have that one saved?
Oh, it's so good.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you my cats and soup island real quick, or my glade, because they're so cute. Couldn't download it on your own phone. Oh no!
Yeah, fair.
Look at these cats
Hold on, let's see if I can get.
making soup, chopping carrots.
Is it snowing?
It is snowing. I paid 800 gems that I had gathered over time to make it snow because it was worth it.
Ah.
But the crux of this game is that your cat makes soup, and then you have to sell it. So you click on it to sell it, and then you slowly add more things as you get more gold, you know, and you upgrade your stuff, and then every time, this is the best part of this game. Every time you go to make a new place that you need a cat to run it, it rolls a free gacha.
Okay.
You don't have to pay no currency, nothing like that. It just automatically does it. The constellation, and the cat falls from the sky, and you get a chance at getting one of so many different kinds of cats. And then you unlock hats, and you can put hats on the cats.
So let me get this straight. You have cats making soup
Yeah, and juice.
and juice that then you take and sell, keeping all profits.
Yes.
And what the cats get in return is that you get to make them wear hats.
Yes.
This game is way darker than I thought
It's so
it was
good.
going to be.
They also like leave their home in the sky
Oh,
to
wait a
come
minute,
work
wait a
for me.
And now you have them working in the snow.
Yep.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
want you
like
to
the
have
snow.
good tales to tell your grandkittens.
Oh, they're so cute though. Stirring the soup, chopping the carrots.
Oh,
I definitely recommend Cats and Soup. It's a game that I think everybody should give a shot. Very, very good. It does sound like Palicos, yeah.
Oh.
Game wise, that's all I've been doing though.
Well, I did jump back in. I did play some more of the Event Horizon
Okay.
this week. That was a red-headed girl
Yeah.
running around. Yeah, man, it's just such a lovely world.
It is. It is.
I kind of wish it almost had like a second option where it's just like, hey, create a character and see, see how long you survive.
Yeah, for sure.
In that world because it's No, I haven't played any of the DLC. I don't know what's in any of the DLC
Right.
or anything. Still in the main storyline, which basically when I sit down and play, I'm following the main storyline, doing a couple of side quests. It's like end of the world.
Yeah,
Let's we need to hurry.
for
But
sure.
I do look forward to the game plus mode.
Yeah. I'm
Those are
excited for
usually
the
cool.
sequel too.
Yeah,
Sequel's
that's
looking good.
yeah. That got we talked about that getting
I
delayed.
think it's
Like
April.
yeah, we talked about it back like September, something like that.
I think it's
Toward the end of
April.
the year. Something. Okay.
I
Have a
had
bet.
one more thing for weeks for me, which
All
is
right.
that I've been watching a TV show based on a book that I have read almost the entire book series. It's called The Expanse.
Okay.
It's a space series. They have taken some creative liberties with the show,
No.
but I don't think they're necessarily bad choices. Like, there's a couple characters that don't exist in the book, that aren't like
Okay.
big major characters, but are just like used for specific purposes.
Yeah. Do they have any of those combinations of like two other characters?
Not so far, but I'm expecting
Okay.
it when we get to later books.
Okay.
And then they made the grizzled Detective Miller like 20 years younger than the book depiction of him. But to be fair, in this series, it's kind of difficult to differentiate age wise unless you're like really old. So he could still be that age, and they just needed a younger actor to be able to do the stuff that he's going to be doing. You know?
They needed
But,
him pretty. They
yeah,
needed him pretty for the screen.
yeah. No, the biggest deviation, I suppose, because this is set in space, right? So the biggest deviation so far is that they haven't got into any of the time dilation stuff. So one of the big things in the book is there's a ship that explodes early on, and I won't say much more for the sake of spoilers, but there's a ship that explodes early on, and some people see it in the book, or they recognize from the heat signature that it has exploded well before they see the explosion, right? Because they're a good distance away. That's how space works. It's huge. Um,
Be.
and so right, and so in the book, there's a really powerful moment where one of the characters that's reading the sensors goes, "I think they just got hit." Oh no, they did. And then dead silence, and then Captain, the light's hitting us right now. And it's just, hey, this is when you get to see it. Whereas in the show, they just let you see the explosion. The characters all just see the explosion, so they don't touch on
Oh,
that, and that's kind of a shame.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
you
because
know,
that kind of builds the scene
it does.
up point.
It's a big, powerful moment. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I think they've done a great job with all of the ships, all of the science. It all looks perfect as far as the book is
Nice.
concerned. Uh,
Nice.
Characters are pretty good. I don't love
Okay.
all the actors and actresses chosen, but I think they're all doing a great job. Nobody so far has just been like completely out of character.
Okay.
It's just that feeling where you have a book series that has like 12 books in it, and it has the same main cast for most of the series. You
Hmm.
create images of what they're supposed to look like in your head,
Yes.
and so then when you see them portrayed, your brain goes, "That's not right."
Yeah. Well, yes. And then there's a couple of times to where the casting was done so well it
Yeah.
changed who they were.
Yes.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of
A
the
lot.
Rings. Yep.
It changed. Those characters kind of changed a little bit in my mind. But another one was the old 'cause I'm a Stephen King fan.
Right.
His book, the miniseries It.
Yeah.
On that cast from that for the longest time I was reading that if I read It, the
That's what you
cast they
think of.
had in that
Yeah.
yeah, it was in my head. But yeah, I definitely understand the opposite of that, and it can be a shock.
Well, and it's kind of funny too because the guy playing Miller is like I said, he looks like 20 years younger than what the book makes Miller sound like. But if he was 20 years older as an actor, I think he'd be spot on. And so it's like, it's fine. I can swipe this out of the way.
All right,
But
fair.
yeah. It's a very good show so far. I'm about 7
It did.
episodes in, and I definitely want to see more of it because it's just cool sometimes to see adaptations and stuff that you like.
Yeah, yeah,
I-
for sure.
I do think that sometimes things get too harsh adaptation critic thrown at them.
Yeah,
This is not the book, it is based on the book, which means when they make choices it's okay. to do things a little bit differently, you know. But at the same
Okay.
time, I'm that guy that goes, well, yeah, but I want Geralt to sound like he's gargling rocks.
Well, you can't have everything, sir.
That's right.
The elves wanted Helm's Deep.
Yeah. And at some
But it's a
point, you
good
just
thing.
go, it's fun.
Yeah, you have to, yeah. Well,
Then there are
honestly,
things that just aren't okay.
I'd seen so many adaptations of books I'd loved by that point that were just horrible.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
I have one that was like did a good job and like took it seriously. Was like, hey, awesome.
My
Ah,
scale at this point is like Lord of the Rings. You mentioned it. Um, the Redwall animated series for the Redwall books. It is like that, and then the complete opposite end is The Hobbit. And as long as you're not down there, we're good.
uh,
We're
yeah.
good.
Oh, that hurt.
Stay like this side of that line, and we're solid.
Faith Ann brought up A Wrinkle in Time,
That's
and
true.
look, I don't know why they don't follow that book.
Yeah.
I don't know why they've got if you know who the author is,
Hmm.
you know what the book's about, what they feel about it, and either do their story or don't.
Yeah. I agree. I do think one before I move on. I do think one big benefit that the show has that the books don't is that they're able to go, hey, around this time is when this side book that's not even in the main series happens. We can bring that up here so people know that's happening now instead of having to do a
Yeah,
flashback 6 books from now, you know? Uh,
fair.
which is a nice touch. It's because they're doing it as the book series is basically completed, they're able to go, well, this is when this would happen, so we're going to go ahead and bring it up now.
Well, yeah, that's fair. That's
Nice.
that's definitely a good point, man. And yeah, I hadn't really thought about it that way, but yes, that's something that a TV adaptation can benefit from.
Yeah. That's pretty much it for my week, though. I think that's. You got anything else, or is that your week?
Now, I was going to ask you in the span at the Expanse,
Hmm.
does anyone save the world?
Nobody saves the world. Let's talk reviews.
Ah,
So, for anybody that is new to the podcast, we do segments on this podcast. We just finished the week segment. We're now going into not the week segment, the weeks segment. We're now going into the reviews segment where we play a game. We haven't played this game
yeah.
for like 2 months, so it's time to explain the rules of this game again. We have a game that has come out called Nobody Saves the World. It is getting reviews. I will give a synopsis of it before anyone is required to guess. But what we will do is after I read the synopsis, we will guess what the critic average score is. Starting with Rungren will make his guess. While he's making his guess, chat, you have your chance to make yours. When he's made his guess, I will push the button. And then when it hits go, we're going to go, whether you've submitted your answer or not. So you got to hurry. If you get the answer right, you go up on the ice cream chart,
Ice cream.
which means you
There's
get an ice
that
cream
ice
at
cream.
TFS Con. Uh,
Ice cream.
if you don't, that's okay. There's always more. There's always more games. But then after that, I'll read a couple review blurbs without giving you the score, and then you can guess the recommended score on the game.
And these always seem to line up real well.
Yeah. So Nobody Saves the World. This is a really interesting game that I'm pretty excited for. It is a how best to describe this? It is an action, like an adventure game that utilizes a job system where you are a nobody, which means you can be anybody, and it has fallen to you to save the world. Lost the
Story
chat?
of my
Oh no.
life.
Uh, I will tell you that this is being created by Drinkbox Studios. This is their
Now,
first major
that
game.
No, Gearbox is what I think.
Yeah,
I
you're
saw.
thinking
Come on.
Gearbox. This is their first major game. What
Okay.
do you think the critic average score is for Nobody Saves the World?
First major game, upcoming studio. I'm gonna be hopeful. I'm gonna be hopeful. Everybody, take a deep breath. me a second to think about it. But I think it's gonna be around an 85.
Around an 85. Okay.
Yeah.
Pushing the button.
Clayton's got a 67. Waverly
Ooh.
with a 76.
Answer is 81.
Oh, okay. All right. Not bad. That's
Not bad at
a pretty
all.
good score for, so the first major release.
Yeah.
That's pretty strong.
Let's go with some more reviews here. We have God is a Geek says Nobody Saves the World is a superb adventure with lots to see, do, experiment with, and have lots of crazy fun whilst doing so. Then we have RPG Fan says Nobody Saves the World provides a large toy box and an enjoyable world in which to play with it. The forms at the center of its gameplay feel significantly different from one another and are all exciting to use once you get a handle on them. Thanks to the shareable abilities, you can also experiment with endless combinations of moves. The main story makes for a satisfying and entertaining 20-ish hours, with some challenges still left over to complete. At the end of the day, everybody is somebody, even if you're nobody.
All right.
It's pretty solid. Our friends
That's a
over at
good-
IG in
good
Italy
review.
say,
All right.
Nobody Saves the World is a sparkling, crazy, and easygoing action adventure capable of entertaining for a long time and providing hours of genuine fun.
All right.
Then we have a couple interesting reviews. Oh, I'm sorry. This studio has helped make Guacamelee before. That is a great thing to reference.
Okay.
So this is their first big self-published game, but Guacamelee is one
Right.
that they helped work on. IGN US says the middle of Nobody Saves the World is a lot of fun, but it is bookended by a slow beginning and final hours that lose steam as the campaign comes to an end. And Metro Game Central says, despite the huge variety of moves and characters, this disappointing follow-up to Guacamelee is let down by mindless combat and bland dungeon design.
That really goes against one of the ones you read earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That was almost because they talked about like unlimited combos.
Yep.
Types of combos.
What do you
But-
think the recommended score is?
That was no help at all. So.
Yep. I specifically chose ones that contradicted each other.
I think I'll back off a little bit. I think I'm going to go with a 79.
Okay. It's your chance, chat.
Got a
76?
Staying with a 76 from Waverly.
Yeah, said we could go.
81.
The answer,
sure enough.
81. The answer is 87%.
Wow. Wow. As high as I was going to go was 83. I'd have never got there.
Much higher than I would have gone as well if I hadn't seen the score. I would have gone for like an
Yeah.
80, 79. God is a Geek gave it a 9.5 out of 10. RPG Fan gave it an 8.5 out of 10. IGN Italy gave it an 8 out of 10. IGN US gave it a 7 out of 10. And Metro Game Central gave it a 6 out of 10.
Okay. Man, 6 out of 10 from what they said.
Yeah. Mindless combat.
Yeah.
6 out of 10. Well,
Pretty generous.
yeah, it really is.
I don't know, man. I think overall, I think I would try it.
Yeah. Another thing I want
from
to start
those reviews.
doing is, now that we've talked about the reviews, I want to bring up some images from the game and let people get an
Okay.
idea for what it looks like.
Heck yeah.
We can't really show footage, unfortunately, but we can do this. This is the main art of the game.
That was cool. Yeah.
And then I can remove that, and I can show you a couple of stills from the game. I wish I could show you gameplay, but that's not a thing we're able to do. So at some point, look to the channel on YouTube where we'll be able to show some gameplay. But this is apparently a level in the game that you can go into.
That looks nice. That's a nice art style, man.
Yeah, I really like that. And then I've got another one here that has some combat in it.
Okay. And this was Drinkbox Studios.
Drinkbox Studios. Nobody Saves the World.
All right, that doesn't look too bad right there.
Yeah, I kind of like the look of it. That's the magic costume, apparently. So maybe it'll be what Balin
Yeah.
should have been.
Oh, I thought we weren't going to talk about that anymore.
I can't help it. It haunts my soul. Uh, Balin Wonderworld. But can you jump? I don't think so, based on the way the game looks. But you never know. You never know. German Mandy-ish? Yeah, for sure. I can see it. I can see it.
Yes. Yes, it does. Very much so.
From there, as we finish the review segment, we go into game announcements, and this also includes release dates.
Excellent.
In the future, when we can get particular, like, not newsworthy stuff to talk about, but just dates drop for stuff we've already talked about, we'll probably go ahead and throw those in there too for like movies and TV shows and stuff like that. But the ones that got announced have like full discussions we had around them, so they'll move to news. These starting off with the Hitman Trilogy. Yep, this is why we had to talk about it.
Yeah, which one?
The new Hitman, the IO Hitman Trilogy.
Okay.
Hitman 1, 2, and 3 as in Hitman 2016, Hitman 2, 2018, and Hitman 3, 2021. I think. But yeah, the newer Hitman games, all going to be wrapped up into a big collection together, which is a cool way to do it. For people that have been holding off on buying it, it is a very good combo because it's all three very good games. Again, I think the first two are, maybe better than the third one, but that's just my own personal feeling on it. There are some weird things about it.
Okay.
It will have the Hitman 3 versions of the older levels.
Okay.
So you can't just play Hitman 1 levels. Basically, like, it will all be the new version, which means all the new stuff will work with it. I don't know, and technically the game still rolls the same way, right? So it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Fair. Just
But
updated graphics, I guess.
yeah, new items laid out in places that weren't there before, new challenges. So there's some benefits to it, but there's just like my brain goes, well, yeah, but what if I just want to do like Hitman 1 Paris? What if I don't want to?
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with the new items. I just want to do Hitman 1 Paris. But still, it's kind of cool. It's gonna be day one on Game Pass, so.
Okay.
And that's January 20th for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. Same day.
2 days.
Yep.
Drops in 2 days. Okay. Did you have the price on the retail price on that again?
I don't think they've announced that. Let me double check it. And Trilogy price. No, not the old Trilogy, Amazon, the new one. I know it's confusing. Trust me, I know. Price point has not yet been revealed.
Okay. I think that's gonna have. Yeah, I'm kind of interested. I have a feeling it's probably gonna be a new game price.
Yeah, I think so too.
Especially if they have those upgrades.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, realistically, Hitman 3 is still going for like $45. So getting Hitman 1 and 2 for $15 more.
Yeah, true.
It's not a bad deal.
Not at all. You can 2 better games for $15 more.
Yeah. And if you have Game Pass, you get them all. Yeah. The only bummer is that you can't go after Santa Claus because that event's over. Look, that's a whole different discussion. We should add that as a topic at some point. But like seasonal events, just have a menu where I can access them later because they're fun.
Yes and no.
Yeah. Some of them are not fun. And also, like, I get why you want those rewards to be limited. But, like, in this game where your goal is to kill Santa and he's teleporting around the map, that's cool. I killed Santa. I'm gonna kill Santa Claus. And you'll get your chance to kill a lot of people in Shadow Warrior 3 coming March 21st. Wait,
Okay.
March 1st, not 21st.
I
March 1st.
was gonna say I have the date wrong. I have March 1st.
No, I was saying the date wrong.
Must be on the 1st. Shadow Warrior 3.
So, for anybody that has not been keeping up with these games, you play as Lo Wang, and on purpose. They chose his name on purpose.
Saying
And
that.
you fight your way through a bunch of enemies, and it's just fun arena-based combat. That's what these games are. I think in the first game, Lo Wang was trying to get his soul back because a demon had taken it. I don't remember.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, that's true. Realistically, the story is not the main draw of these games. We all know what it is. It's the ability to run up into a room and just, you know? So, that's cool. I'm excited for that. Whether I'll actually play it on release, who knows? But I'm excited for it before the year's out. And then this next one, I'm not excited for.
Okay.
So I have to ask, do you know what YIIK is?
I'm afraid I don't.
So
The sound they make when you cough in your microphone, YIIK.
yeah, that's so YIIK is like YIIK is a game made by a very interesting developer. Let me get his name pulled up here. It's made by ACK Studios, and the producer is named Brian Queck.
Look, is this what happened to the invaders from Mars aliens? YIIK, crack. YIIK,
So
crack.
it should be, yeah, it should be. So YIIK, a postmodern RPG, is one of. I'm not even gonna try and it's supposed to be pronounced Y2K, by the way. But that's not how anybody says it. People say YIIK. It's one of the worst games I've ever played in my life.
Oh. Okay.
Just to say it as
Wow.
nicely as possible.
All right.
There's a whole thing about how he wanted to make his own game. He wanted to make his game, and I say it's like a whole small team, right? But the writer is this guy named Andrew Allenson, and the main character is him.
Okay.
A self-insert. And it's a whole story about dealing with grief and everything, because the writer was, at the time, I believe, he's come out and said later that he was not. I'm not trying to get any libel lawsuits here. He was obsessed with the death of a woman in an elevator, of a real woman, a person that exists. So he wrote her into his game and has her fall in love with his main character.
Okay.
Main character is one of the biggest jerks that I've ever seen. At one point, another main character's sister is killed right before his eyes, basically. And the main character's response is like, "Can you just stop being dramatic for a minute? We're trying to find a way to live here." To the guy whose sister just died. Again, this character is always treated as if they're the right person and the best person in the room and the smartest person in the room, and people just don't understand them. It's legitimately one of the worst games I've ever played.
Wow.
It was raked across the coals in its initial release back in 2019. But he's not done, because now he's made YIIK I.V, which I guess is supposed to be 1.5, which in the trailer, there's more story to come about this main character, more side characters to meet and get to know, more of the woman that died in real life, and more.
Is this a how not to try not to cringe test? Is that what you're doing here?
It should be.
'Cause I failed. All right, I failed.
Should be. But like, it's gonna be a free update.
Good.
I'm not covering this for the channel. I just want everyone to understand it's not happening. I dipped my toes into this in 2019 and was disgusted and walked away going. But I'll tell you what, if you hear all this today and you go, well, I want to know more about this, there are so many YouTube videos about this game. Like just go. You got like Manga Common, you got man, I don't even know. You get all the reactionary people on YouTube, I guarantee you they've made a video on this game. Cuz like
All right.
what the heck? What are you doing? I should specify it's also like a turn-based RPG, and every character has their own gimmick for the way the turn-based works. The
Okay.
main character is that he throws records because it's the postmodern RPG.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see where this is going, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oof.
this is still coming, I guess. Yeah,
Oh.
it's. I don't like it. I don't like it.
No.
At all.
No. Yeah. I think I'll avoid that one.
And honestly, the main reason I put this on here was so I could remind people don't play this game. It's not okay to take the likeness of a real person that died in a tragic accident, not speak to any of their family, and then write them in as a love interest for your self-insert main character. That's not okay.
No, it's good. No, it's not. No.
So yeah, that's YIIK.
Yeah.
That's
Yes, it
YIIK.
is. Yes, it is. Absolutely is.
But now we'll
Absolutely.
move into it. So is. Now we'll move into the news segment.
Dun, 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 dun. News headline thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it. Disney's making a new Snow White.
Yeah, because it's necessary. This is
New
I'm
live
pretty
action
sure,
Snow White.
make sure they keep the copyright. Go ahead and do this a little bit early.
I don't. I feel like that can't be right though, right? Because
They'll be doing it a few years ahead of time.
yeah, because we just had what was it with the stepmother? What's it called?
Cinderella.
I'm
Sleeping
thinking
Beauty?
I'm thinking Maleficent. Different story. That's Sleeping Beauty.
Yes.
Uh, so I'm so confused by this movie
Yeah, me
because
too.
first off, it's called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Mm-hmm. And the writing credits are the original writers.
Yes.
For the cartoon, the animation. That did the screenplay.
Rachel Ziegler is going to be Snow White.
Yeah.
Gal Gadot is going to be the evil queen.
This is the same problem Snow White and the Huntsman had.
Yeah.
Look, it is so cruel. And look, Snow White needs to be more attractive than the queen.
Yep. But here's where things get weird. Because Andrew Burnap has been cast as an important male lead who is not the Huntsman and is not the prince.
It's gonna be one of the dwarfs.
He's either one of the dwarves or they've wrote in a brand new character. Which is what I'm leaning on.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be a love interest.
Ugh.
There's no way he's not, right?
Like, what? Didn't they do that in The Hobbit? They made it okay now. We're going to do it in Snow White.
So
Hobbit ruins everything.
what I want to ask you is, if you had to write in a new love interest to Snow White, what the heck would you do where it would make sense?
Obviously, write it myself.
I mean, yeah.
There you go.
So my gut says a guard, right?
The guard, yeah.
You
possibly,
take a guard
something
that
like
follows
that.
the huntsman out there because he realizes the huntsman is going to kill Snow White. And the guard follows him out there to stop him.
Yeah.
And if I'm right, Disney, I'm just saying, hire me. It is the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Waverly here mentions
Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was, what an interesting way to do it.
Yeah.
They didn't do it the Disney way. They didn't repeat the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, maybe whether you like the show or not, it's kind of irrelevant to the point.
Right.
You know, it was an interesting way to do it that brought new life to old stories. I guess to say.
I wish I liked that show as much as a lot of people I know do because I think a lot of the ideas are really clever.
Yeah. Um, when a show runs for a long time,
Yeah.
it's hard to keep it fresh sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So
Just like when you take an old movie and
yeah.
remake it a bunch.
Yeah. Well,
I just-
they mess up. They'll take old movies, old stories, and they don't always get them right.
yeah.
And you know what else they do? Sometimes they will take a game that's popular
Yep.
and try to make a show out of it.
Yep.
And I don't know how I feel about that.
Speaking of
Netflix.
which, let's talk about
Season hit and miss. Fair.
the Cuphead show. We have another thing that I'm skipping to come back to it because we can't give up that segue. This was a video game that's been turned into a TV show.
Yeah.
But it's coming February 18th on Netflix. It's got
Yeah.
some interesting things going on with it, though. Because the Cuphead show. Where did it go? Oh, I gotta pull it back up again. I lost my tab.
It ran away, sir. You've lost it.
Here
You've lost it.
it is.
All right.
It's going to be 12-minute episodes.
That might actually. That's probably going to work into its favor then.
I think so, too.
I mean, let's look at stuff that made Cuphead what it was. One was the infuriating gameplay, right?
Yes.
And the art style that went with it.
Yes.
They throw back to another time of animation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly how they're doing this animation. It'd be really cool if they actually did it, the throwback way.
It's adjacent to the throwback.
Yes.
I've watched the trailer, and it's close to the throwback.
Yes. Right. It's got. Yeah. Which, like I was going to say, there were some cartoons from that time that you maybe watch on a scholarly level, but yeah, not good.
Yeah.
Not good. Here's the thing that bothers me in the trailer. Now, was the devil character? Is that in the game?
Yeah, he's the final boss. Spoilers, I guess, but what does it matter if I tell you who the final boss is of Cuphead? Realistically, the real boss is your own skill.
I don't know. It's just so many times, and like it works. It doesn't work. I'm not. So many times I've just seen the devil kind of portrayed with that attitude, that same way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's almost like
For sure.
So
I think it works better in the game because in the game there's not a lot of there's no voice dialogue really. And so it's just like the cartoony movements instead.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes it more. It's a silent era.
Yeah. And I kind of wish they'd gone with that for this. I get why they didn't because they want a comedic spin to it as well. Again, 12-minute episodes might be worth it, but
yeah,
it is something I never thought I needed. It's something I'll try out. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
It could be cool to see some of those cool Cuphead bosses in animation, because they look cool in the game with the way they move, and they're all like individually animated.
Yes.
But we'll see. It's weird hearing Cuphead and Mugman talk.
So do you think this? Yeah, it was. That was because when you watch the trailer at first, you see them splat and paint, and then they turn and you find the voices that they have. I don't know. I kind of got mixed feelings about it.
Yeah.
But at 12, I'm kind of hopeful now. Actually, at that shortened time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might have a little more fun with it.
Yeah.
The story might work better for what it is, right?
I agree.
A quick animation. Now I don't know if it will be, if
That's
it'll ever
fair.
be a platinum hit.
Right.
But
Speaking of platinum, your segues are great. You've put a lot of work into those tonight. I'm so proud of you. Speaking of Platinum Games has had a leadership change. It's not typing any. Not okay. Hold on. Where am I typing if I'm not typing here? There it goes.
all right.
There's a new president.
Dun,
Back to
dun,
my
dun,
document. There we go.
dun.
So
I didn't even know Platinum Games was a country.
this kind of caught everybody by surprise, but on the 13th, the president of Platinum Games, Kenichi Sato, put out a statement saying that he hopes everybody is, looking forward to the new year. He is also, as of December last year, I retired, which is
Everybody enjoy.
that's not how that's normally done. Normally it's like a big thing. The press gets involved when a Japanese company has like a president step down. It's normally a really big deal. And it's kind of interesting that he's just like, yeah, we'll wait until the new year and then I'll just reveal it in a tweet, But
Seems
he has
proper.
this right. He has this whole thing here where he's like, yeah, Inaba Atsushi, he'll be stepping up as the new president. He was the VP all this time, and you have a little bit here from Sato about like, hey, I've been president since April 2016. I wanted to make sure that people all over the world smiled. We had that tie up with Tencent, and people got really nervous, but we made it through there. We launched another studio, but from now on, maybe the company should work on new games, new things that can only be done by Platinum Games. And so he's going to step aside and let Inaba take over now, because Inaba was one of their best devs as well before, so that Inaba can lead Platinum Games into the future. But he'll still be around, Sato will, as an advisor, and it hopes everybody's looking forward to it.
You know what's kind of interesting about you? It was an interesting day for you to be reporting on this. Because in 1126, in China, Emperor, I'm gonna make sure I have the name right, Emperor Huizong, yeah, he stepped down, advocated the throne for Emperor Quinzong
Yeah.
in 1126 on this day. And here you're talking about the president of Platinum Games.
Yeah. That's pretty
That's
interesting.
funny.
Pretty interesting. I do think that Inaba's statement is a little interesting. He says, although I have a heavy responsibility to tighten myself, I would like to make an effort to make Platinum Games' raison d'etre of continuing to create new play shine more strongly and aim for a further leap forward.
Now, they run 2 studios?
Mm-hmm. They made Bayonetta, Vanquish, Wonderful 101.
Where are they out of?
They're out of Japan. They
Both
also
studios?
did the gameplay for Nier Automata and Nier Replicant.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I'm interested in this. I think his wording here, I don't feel like is an accident, because I saw some people going like, oh, well, it's just clear that Mr. Inaba has a little bit harder time with English than Mr. Sato did. I don't think so. Because for a long time, Platinum has teased new games with their announcements, and we just don't know it till later. Like, there was an announcement many, many years ago before Scalebound was announced that said that we need to scale up the company because we're bound for a new future. And then like a week later, they announced Scalebound,
Yeah.
Now, granted, Scalebound never came out, unfortunately. I bought an Xbox for that game. But that's a lesson for you. Children, don't ever buy a console for a game that's not even out yet.
There you go. There you go. That's a new version of don't count your chickens before they hatch, right?
That's right, yeah. But who
21st
knows?
century version.
I want to see what they come up with next. I like Platinum a lot. They make some really good stuff. So, and they're currently working on Babylon's Fall, which is the game that Square Enix is producing that allows them to use a bunch of resources from Final Fantasy 14. So, I'm interested.
Babylon's Fall?
Yeah.
Babylon's not far from Egypt. They worship the moon there.
It's true.
I did.
Endwalker. The moon. Uh, PlayStation because something like that. I understand. I definitely do. Speaking of the moon, though, I went somewhere different than the docket would. Moon Knight has been announced, coming out March 30th on Disney Plus. It's a Moon Knight live action TV show.
This okay. I've been kind of mad about a couple of things lately with Marvel. I am looking forward to this though.
That trailer's really good.
It is, and I'm glad. Look, the dude's crazy.
Yep.
Or is he?
The Fist of Khonshu.
Oh yes. I'm looking forward to this. I like the actor.
Yeah.
I like the trailer. It looks good. There was a couple of parts where I don't think they may have polished the
Right.
CGI.
Yeah.
On the suit on a couple of spots. It's okay. It passes for trailer, but I hope they tighten that up for the when they get to the series. Right now, obviously, it's going to depend on where they go with the story.
For sure. I'm a big fan of Moon Knight, but normally not in his own stories. I think, what is it? Moon Knight, Night of Blood, I think is still the best one. I think it's called Night of Blood. I can look it up in a second.
Okay. Well, I know he's had show. Of course, he's been everywhere, but he's had showdowns. A couple showdowns with Iron Fist
Mm-hmm.
a few times over the decades. They've been pretty big, and yeah, he's got quite a few crossovers. Of course, he doesn't have. If I may be wrong, but he doesn't really have long runs.
Yeah, they're normally really short.
Solo comics, yeah. He does. He shows up. He's more known for showing up in other stories.
What is it?
Of the series,
Oh,
the comic series that he had.
yeah, I'm trying to remember. It was something to do with blood.
I don't know. I have to go back.
I thought I'd be able to just pull it up, but I guess not. I apologize, everyone.
Maybe we'll find it next time.
Maybe. I do think that he has one of my favorite parts when he shows up and one of the Avengers runs, and there's like a big argument going on between some of the Avengers, and Spider-Man is standing there not wanting to have any part of it, and Moon Knight just hasn't responded for 6 panels. And then he just goes, "Whoa, sorry about that. I was lost for a little while. What's going on?" And Spider-Man says it's going to take way too long to explain it. Punch whoever I punch. It's just a really nice moment. I'm like, yeah, Moon Knight, he's nuts, man.
Yeah. Yeah. The trailer's well done as a good setup for the show. So I'm hoping the show lives up to the trailer.
That was it. I found it now. I'm sorry. It's Werewolf by Night. Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night, where he fights a werewolf.
Yeah.
Very good.
Or does he?
Good question. No, it's Moon Knight's pretty good. I like Moon Knight.
Yeah. It's an interesting character. Going through that.
Yeah. Do you think, I have to ask, do you think this series will end with Moon Knight being cracking jokes and having a good time and being a Marvel character? Or do you think they're going to stick with the more serious tone that this trailer takes?
Well, if all the story is going to bounce back and forth between the two.
Yeah.
The reason why the stuff, if they follow it, the reason why the comedy and the levity you come across, should be kind of funny because of the darkness.
Yes, it should.
Right?
Absolutely.
Of how rough, this guy has it with trying to deal with what's going on,
right,
on in life and his mind.
Well, and the different aspects of his personality, without getting into too much spoilers for Moon Knight, are what makes the comic so interesting to me. Because in many ways, he's very different characters all at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. He's yeah. It's not a clear. It's not clear as his motivations or where his powers coming from.
Yeah. I just want to give one more Moon Knightism before we go, because again, I've been a fan of Moon Knight for a long time. I don't get to talk about Moon Knight ever, you know.
Fair, fair.
Uh, there's a really really good run of the Fantastic Four where he shows up and he's like, "I am the Silver Surfer," and everybody's like, "No, you're not." Like, I thought that would work. So yeah, Moon Knight's great, but
the one thing I wish they would bring in, they're not going to.
yeah,
There was a period, but it reminds me of that same type of humor. It was the Gray Hulk, Mr. Fix It.
yeah,
He worked as a bouncer in Vegas,
yeah,
but as a guy tries to get in a fight with him, goes up and like stabs him with a knife. Of course,
yeah.
the knife breaks, and he goes, "Oh, you got me," and just falls on him.
Do you think they're gonna? So like, for anybody who doesn't know, Moon Knight's original run has a very very stereotypical French man in it that Moon Knight calls Frenchie. Like he is so French it hurts. At one point, Frenchie is literally just eating a raw baguette. Do you think they're gonna do that, or you think they're gonna drop that because it'll be too silly?
You know what? I have no idea. We'll have to find out. Because sometimes they all the characters are changed up a little bit
Yeah,
in the MCU. It's its own universe. So that's I don't know. Uh, like I said, right now I just got my hope pin on. They got the right actor for
yeah.
Midnight. Um,
I think Oscar Isaac's gonna kill it in that role.
because even in that trailer, he had me like what like on the edge of my seat, and then
Mm-hmm.
kind of giggling a little bit at couple of times. So
Yeah.
that's always a good strong point.
Yes.
When the cat you feel strong about the casting or the casting seems done well. Oh,
I do want to mention one last thing about comics before we go, uh, because I got reminded of this clip, and Frenchie, yeah, I got reminded of this clip, and I have to talk about it. The
okay.
clip of Stan Lee meeting the Japanese Spider-Man from the Tokusatsu series Spider-Man, Supaidaman, as people say. That clip has floated out on the internet again, and it is like the most wholesome thing because Stan Lee is sitting at his desk, and Japanese Spider-Man walks in the suit, and immediately Stan Lee just goes like you hear the Japanese person at the door trying to introduce him, like
Yeah.
in English, and Stan Lee just goes, "My son," and it's just like, oh, oh, my heart, oh, it's so good. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Stan the Man Lee.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yep. And you can tell that like the guy who's the suit actor for Japanese Spider-Man is like beyond excited to be there. He's just like overly bowing and going to shake the hand, and you can see his hands are shaking. It's like, yeah, of course he is.
Yeah.
He loves Spider-Man, and this is the guy that made Spider-Man. And this genuinely nice old man just said "my son" with like a heart full of love when he walked through the door. Of course he's excited.
Heck yeah. Heck
So, but speaking of exciting things,
yeah.
this is probably going to be the rest of the podcast. Just a heads up to everybody.
Possibly. Whew.
Microsoft, specifically the Xbox division, has purchased Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion.
A bargain.
This morning, they were in talks. This afternoon, the president of Blizzard, Kotick, had come out and put out a statement that says, I'm still going to be with the company until after the deal resolves, but once the deal is all settled and we've got all our other stuff out of the way, I will be stepping down.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, of course you are. Xbox is not going to keep you there.
Yeah. Also, yeah, Microsoft pretty much said, yeah, we'll do it, but we don't want him.
Yeah.
This came after because one of the things Xbox did, the Xbox division did when all this Activision Blizzard stuff came out was say, hey, we got to reevaluate who we're working with here.
That's right.
And this is we kind of predicted this. We didn't predict Xbox
Right.
would buy them. We did kind of predict this last year, talking about this a little bit.
Yeah.
The stock price plummeted for Activision Blizzard. It became a lot. The company lost half its value
Yes.
in a matter of months. And if you look at the stock price today, after this is announced and everything, and look, it's going to take 12 to 18 months before Xbox actually owns Activision. I bet they will change the logo thing.
I think it will too.
Um,
Phil Spencer was getting a lot of questions asked to him on Twitter,
yeah,
and he was very open about it. He was like, "Yeah, we are set to continue the path that we were taking of making sure that our publishers, our businesses, our studios, our offices all maintain the same level of how did he word it? It was like the same level of accountability and respect that we expect from the Xbox brand." It's like, yeah, Phil Spencer's going to go in there and clean up house.
yeah,
Those reports that's coming to Bobby Kotick's desk right now aren't going in the trash when they get to Phil Spencer's desk.
yeah. And they, this is a good bad thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good thing
Bring
because
that
something
broom, please do.
had to change.
Yes.
Had to change. There, I don't know. Once again, hey, we're not going to change. These are not going to become Xbox exclusive. And look,
Right.
and I'm on the Xbox side in the console wars this year.
Yeah.
I really hope they don't, because there's some games from Bethesda that when they release, they're going to be Xbox exclusive.
Yes.
That were not intended to be at the beginning.
Right.
And I hope this doesn't follow suit. I have a feeling it will.
I think so.
And the only answer, it's going to it puts more pressure on Sony and Nintendo to come up with more stuff, and the studios are working there. So it's a good bad thing. I can't.
The deal still could fall apart before the end, but I don't think it will. I think it's pretty much set in stone. I don't think they're going to get a better deal.
No, look, they paid cash. This
Yeah,
is cash.
that's what I'm saying.
Paid. It is right now that what takes us 12 to 18 months is untangling and redoing the stock.
Yeah.
And all that. And there's going to be, anytime a big thing goes like this, you're going to have monopoly
clauses to deal with.
And stuff like that. And make sure that everything's going on the up.
Yeah.
Which it'll take time, but I am almost 100% that Xbox, Microsoft now owns Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
Um,
the CEO of Microsoft, not of Xbox, of Microsoft, put out a statement about this and said, "We're investing deeply in world-class content, community, and the cloud to usher in a new era of gaming that puts players and creators first and makes gaming safe, inclusive, and accessible to all."
Well, look, and that's, see, I think that's on the good side, right? Because there's some titles under the Activision Blizzard logo that are very valuable and have a huge fan base.
Yes.
Now, some of those titles have lost a lot of fans.
They have.
And maybe this will bring it back.
Yeah.
Maybe this will bring it back. I don't like World of Warcraft.
Right.
I know a lot of people that do, but are not going to stand for it.
Right.
And maybe this allows them to play their favorite game again.
Absolutely. And we got to look at what this is going to do to the face of gaming when Xbox puts out a new Diablo and Xbox puts out a new StarCraft and Xbox puts out the next expansion too, because now they own Bethesda. So now they own Elder Scrolls Online.
Mm-hmm.
Now they own World of Warcraft Online.
Yeah.
All that's left, I guess, is for them to buy Guild Wars, and they have the big three that aren't Final Fantasy, Like, it's pretty crazy when you think about it. And they don't just get them, they also get Call of Duty and Candy Crush.
Right.
And people go, well, Candy Crush just no, Candy Crush makes billions of dollars a year. They get all of that. And like I said, they get Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's a big one. Especially with, and look, like I said, this is the biggest purchase of a game studio of all time. The most money ever spent on it, and they got it at a bargain.
Yes, they absolutely did.
Spending less than $70 billion on Activision, which a few months ago was worth over twice that.
Yeah.
You know, over twice that. And since the purchase, like I said, they paid cash.
Yeah.
This is not stocks. This is not nothing. This is they paid cash for it. That's nuts, right?
Yeah.
The uh, the stock prices went up $24 at one point when I checked today. A lot of
Yeah.
people made a lot of money off of it. People are like, okay, this is what it took for people to start. Okay, maybe Activision can be saved again.
Right.
Complete buyout.
I'm pulling up the lists because they also got a bunch of studios from it.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's nuts to think about how many studios they actually just walked away with for basically free. Realistically, they now have to pay the bills for them, but they don't care because they got some of people will go, well, which studios? They got some of the best studios in the biz right now when it comes to like putting out quality products every time. They got Treyarch, they got Sledgehammer, they got Infinity Ward, they got Demonware, they got Toys for Bob, they got Ravensoft, they got High Moon Studios, and they got Beanox. And if anybody doesn't remember what Ravensoft does, Ravensoft has been left in the COD mines because of Activision. But Ravensoft put out Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy. They put out X-Men Legends. They put out Quake 4 and Wolfenstein. They put out Shadowcaster and Hexen. You got High Moon Studios who put out Transformers War for Cybertron, Deadpool. They did a lot of the work on Destiny and Destiny 2. You know, and these Toys for Bob with Crash Bandicoot, you know? And these companies just keep getting pushed to the COD mines. I don't think Xbox is going to do that.
I don't either. I don't either. And here's the thing. You just mentioned all those games. Look, come on. Tell me there's not a nostalgia wave going right now for that era.
Yep, there absolutely is.
You know?
Beanox did... I'm sorry, Toys for Bob was not... Toys for Bob was the Tony Hawk. Beanox did Crash. They did Skylanders. They did the Amazing Spider-Man games. They did the Guitar Hero ports for Xbox. They did Pitfall. They did the Fantastic Four game, which wasn't great, but hey. They did Gun.
Yeah.
Like, this is a decent set of studios you just picked up. And again, for people who go, well, it wasn't free. No, but they were paying this anyway.
Yeah.
Now they have the studios too.
I don't know. I hope. Yeah. I hope maybe some revitalization.
Yeah.
On a couple of those would be nice. It's a lot of IPs. A lot of IPs.
And you don't just get the IPs. You don't just get the offices. You don't just get the studios. You also get any of the engines that they made.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Demonware, you may have heard me say Demonware and gone, well, what games do they make? They don't make games. They make engines for matchmaking for Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
So Xbox now owns what, arguably the best lobby system in matchmaking for shooters right now.
It's a this is so insane. This is a ruthless business move.
Yeah.
That they got cheaply because of how horrible that major company was.
Yes.
And how badly they handled things.
It is nuts to me how good of a pickup this is, honestly. And again, Call of Duty alone is worth that money, right?
Yeah.
To get Call of Duty and all three studios tied to it is worth that money. But then you get all of Blizzard's backlog.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you get Candy Crush.
Yeah. And there's been the news, or it seems to me the news on Diablo 4 has been kind of quiet.
Yeah.
Here lately, I'd seen some screenshots, a little bit of gameplay footage, but then it kind of went quiet.
Yeah.
Obviously. So I'm kind of wondering, I'm interested on that franchise in particular. Is are they going to scrap, or are they going to continue on with what they've got?
Right. I have the same question, but for Overwatch 2.
Well, they say Overwatch 2. The Phil Spencer, one of the Phil Spencer, I believe he was saying that was one he was definitely dedicated to getting out.
Yeah.
And oh,
It's
so
going to be crazy.
I know. I believe Overwatch 2. They're definitely they need to finish that up and get that out. And that was one of the things that he definitely wanted to do. That came up with the topic of the exclusivity and everything else when he was trying to cut it up. Which he very carefully says things
Yeah.
in his position, but
Yeah.
is what it is.
We should mention, too, of course, that this means that they are pushing for as much as possible. He says specifically, Phil Spencer does, upon close, we will offer as many Activision Blizzard games as we can within Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass, both new titles and games from Activision Blizzard's incredible catalog.
Yeah.
So you're talking, soon as they get the option to, StarCraft 2 is going to be on Game Pass.
Yeah. Like I'm saying, it's good to be an Xbox owner, man.
I
Right
love
now, it is.
StarCraft, and I haven't touched it since all this stuff came out.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, if Xbox cleans house, I'm gonna play StarCraft again.
Right. And they've started at the top, and
Yeah.
we know the evidence of him not paying attention.
Yeah.
And ignoring and throwing stuff in the trash.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure they're paying him a good amount to leave.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
at least he's gone, right? I can get why people are upset about it, but at least he's gonna be gone.
Yeah, he's gonna be gone.
And that means that from then on, they didn't specify who's gonna take over, because of course they won't yet. But every single studio in the Xbox family, as Phil Spencer calls it, answers to Phil Spencer. Like, all of them.
Yeah.
So I don't see them getting away with anything with him in charge. I mean, I'm not trying to put the man on a pedestal, but he's been very vocal about it in the past.
He's very vocal about it, and he doesn't. Yes, they all answer to him, but he doesn't get in their way.
Right.
I haven't heard of him shutting something down because he didn't like it. So
unlike Activision. So I'm not going to sit here and say that Phil Spencer's going to save Blizzard, but I am going to say that Xbox is going to make that company relevant again.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a very fair statement. A very, very, very fair statement.
In like a side piece of news to this, which is really interesting, Game Pass now has 25 million subscribers.
That's insane.
Like, it was 18 million last January. It's 27 million more.
So 25 million people sending in that fee every month.
Yep. No wonder they can afford to pay $68.7 billion.
Yeah.
I guarantee you Phil Spencer went, hey, let me buy Activision Blizzard. And they went, I don't know. And he went, here's how much money we make every year with Game Pass.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, this is how much Activision should be worth. They're stupid. This is how much it is worth now because of them. Yeah, let me buy it.
And this makes, with this purchase, Microsoft now has 30 individual game studios, which is nuts.
That is. It is.
You look at Sony, they've got, what, 8? You look at Nintendo, they've got 4? No, they've got 5. They've got 5. Because they have Sora Limited as well. So, like, the discrepancy is very clear. And don't get me wrong, I'm a Sony guy, right? We've talked about this. I prefer to play on my PlayStation.
Yeah. Which they have the better controller.
I love this controller so much. This thing's great. But yeah, it's nuts to think how many more games they should. And again, we talked about this last year. You and I did on this podcast. Xbox has all of these studios, and they have very few like big name mascot like games. This is a chance to turn that around.
Yeah.
People know the names Diablo, Overwatch.
Look, Microsoft, what Xbox what Xbox is going to be dropping over the next what, say 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's probably going to be pretty impressive. Hammer with the new Elder Scrolls, Hammerfall.
Yeah.
Um, you know, just yeah, it's kind of nuts. It's the purchase doesn't surprise me. Like I said, I am hesitantly glad it's done.
Right.
The reason what we get out of it with people being gone and cleaning up the environment, good.
Right.
That much control for one company would always make me nervous, though.
Yeah, it's a lot. And we haven't even really talked about it, but we mentioned the Candy Crush thing. This also makes Microsoft the biggest developer on mobile because they own all of King. They own Candy Crush, Candy Crush Saga. They own the Call of Duty mobile game. They own the what's it called, the Warzone. They own the Warzone mobile game that's currently in production. They own Diablo Immortal. uh,
You have a phone, don't you?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
It is
here's what I
nuts.
want to check. We can check kind of towards the end of the year, maybe at the beginning of next year.
Yeah,
But it would be really interesting to see if Xbox surpasses 10 cent next year,
yeah,
because 10 cent makes money.
yeah. They do. And
At
Xbox
10
is now in agreements with Tencent because of this purchase.
Yeah, yeah, man, that's a big
I'm
deal.
with you though because the thing we've barely touched on is the monopoly that it is. Uh, we look at
Yeah,
we just got done talking about how many more studios Xbox has. Sony has put out some incredible games. People love those games.
yeah.
Nintendo's put out some incredible games. People love those games. They don't have near the power behind them now that Xbox does, and
Mm.
that's a kind of a scary thing because Sony and Nintendo would probably never work together to break a monopoly, and eventually Microsoft is going to have enough money that they're going to go for one of them.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't think they'd
Honestly,
ever sell,
right.
but
Microsoft would never own Nintendo or Sony for reasons.
right,
Um, I'm going through that, but yeah, they have such a power in the market, such a big controlling
yeah,
uh, section of um, market share
yeah,
that yeah, it's kind of intimidating, and I don't know either the fewer studios that Nintendo and Sony have exclusively are going to have to put out more games, or they're going to have to make more studios that are not under the Microsoft license.
yeah.
Ah,
It's gonna be a really weird couple years, you know.
yeah,
Uh,
I think so.
I'm really curious to see. I mean, obviously, I'm hoping that this is a big step up for Blizzard, for the employees. I hope that they have a better time with this, is the way I'll put it. But it's
Yeah.
also going to be really interesting to see what this does to the face of competitive shooters, what this does to the face of MMOs. Because again, two of the three biggest MMOs now are owned by Xbox.
Well, yeah, you,
Two of
you
the
got
biggest shooters are owned by Xbox.
yeah, you got the same company that owns Halo now. Has Halo? Halo has Call of Duty.
Well, and they have Overwatch now, so that's three of the biggest shooters.
Three of the biggest shooters. Yeah. I smell a crossover.
No, for sure. That's there is no way there is not going to be a mobile game that has like made by King that has Microsoft characters in it. There's no way that's not happening. There's going to be
Yeah.
a Halo mobile game now before I would say 2025 there will be a Halo mobile game. No doubt in my mind.
All right. All right. We'll see how that works out. Ah,
It's just a weird thing, you know?
yeah, it is. It is on that, and like we'll have to. I'm like I said, glad, hesitant about it. We'll have to see what the year brings, and like I said, it'll be sometime next year. It'll be officially done,
Yeah.
and then we'll really see what Microsoft has planned for Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
Well, you want an interesting story?
Let me hear an interesting story.
I'll give you an interesting story for January 18th. On to that. First of all, I would like to say happy birthday to Maria Rocks. She's a Estonian singer.
Okay.
Sings some songs. Could You? She did a cover of Clawfinger's Nothing Going On. And a song called Check Out that I think it's one of my favorites. She doesn't have a big
Nice.
following, but it's her birthday.
Happy birthday.
But I would like to talk to you about something that happened 14 years ago on
Okay.
January 18th. And this was reported by Stephen Behringer off the wire.
All right.
Uh, when Huang Yongfu started painting the occasional wall in his exceedingly drab Kai Hong Military Dependence Village in Taichung City, Taiwan, his original relieved boredom. When he learned that the ghost town that he and his wife were living in, which I guess it's not really a ghost town if he and his wife lived there, though they were the only ones.
Right.
So pretty close because he was 84 at the time. Uh, he heard it was going to be short. He kicked into overdrive. He covered every stone, wall, gutter. He just started painting everywhere. Now the place is a internationally recognized tourist attraction.
Oh.
Yeah, Hong and his wife are the only residents of the Rainbow Village, where he's known as Grandpa Rainbow. Student Charles Tsai, he brought students together from the local faculty to the Taichung City government to preserve it, leading to the Save the Rainbow Village campaign.
Right.
Campaign was obviously a success. It is preserved as an art park. Lonely Planet ranked it as one of the top secret marvels of the world, and Culture Trip put it as the most Instagrammable spot. I guess is a thing in
I
Taiwan.
guess so.
Taiwan. Well, because of the cost of maintaining the vintage, the government created the Rainbow Cultural and Creative Co., which produces the tourist infrastructure and helps supply the paint to expand and repair all the murals there.
Oh, that's really cool.
I thought that was a really cool story, yeah, out of Taiwan.
Yeah.
The guy who painted the whole. It was kind of weird, right? Him and his wife, he was 84, he's an 84-year-old veteran.
Yeah.
You know, and him and his wife just lived in this abandoned military place that he painted. And
That's
now
really sweet.
he gets him and his wife are the only where people come visit. They're the only ones that live there. They live there,
Yeah.
They enjoy their time there. They visit with people that come to see him, and he oversees the mural and the expansion.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I think
I like that.
good story. Good story.
Well, we've been going for about an hour 40.
Yeah,
I think we can cover some plugs.
I think so. Once of that, what you got? What you got?
Well, this is less of a plug and more just like excited for. I think I'm probably like 3 weeks out, maybe a month out from being able to start doing some Warhammer painting videos.
How far out?
About 3 weeks to a month, maybe.
Ooh, okay.
I've got a table selected. I think
Okay.
I'd mentioned that I had been offered a table, and
so,
should be able to get that soon. Hopefully, room is getting there, in the process of getting it cleared out, and then it's just setting up the camera and good to go.
Nice.
But I'm very excited, and it's like perfect timing because some new paints are coming out made by Army Painter that are supposed to be speed painting paints, where it's the wash and the paint together. But you have to let it dry on its own. You can't air dry it. You have to let it dry on its own. So, I'm interested in that. That would be really cool.
All right.
Pile them up and then do that. But I'm very excited to get into that, of course. And then I was gonna plug a song. I don't normally plug music, but I heard, and it's now one of my new favorite songs. Let me pull up the guy's name, make sure I get it right. I know the name of the song, but I can't remember if his first name is one of two different names.
Okay. Get it right. There. Find it.
Yeah.
Find it.
Okay, I got it. It's by Cody Fry, and it's called "I Hear a Symphony." And apparently, he made this song last year.
All right.
But it's very, very good. I like it a lot. Just a real nice piano song with some good lyrics to it. So if you get the chance, check that out. And then for my final plug, make sure I get the right channel here. I wanted to plug, I mentioned him before a couple times, Josh Strife Hayes. He has just made a video on NFTs. And
Okay.
if anybody has like ever wanted like a good breakdown of why they work and why they don't, of
Yeah.
both sides of that argument, that is a great video to check out because he goes into the literally the science of it, I guess you could say, of like this is what makes an NFT an NFT.
Mm.
You know,
That's
just not
cool,
here.
man.
So it's a very cool, but his channel is really cool and he covers MMOs and he talks about a lot of cool different stuff about MMOs, and
Good deal.
I think he's a pretty funny guy.
Right on.
You got
All
any
right.
plugs?
I do, man. I want to plug Zounds.
Yeah.
Just because they have, if you need music equipment or you're interested in that, they have amazing people and they're fair, the most fair place I've ever found on their payment plan.
Right.
And you treat them fairly and they will treat you fairly. And
Yeah.
that means a lot to me. So I just want to put them out. Plug myself on Rumble. I got 2 songs up there. If you go give those a listen.
You got a link to that, and I'll drop it in the chat.
Hopefully.
I know where you
know
put
what?
a link. Hold on, I can grab that.
Okay. I'll do that. I've got those up. Appreciate everybody. Stuck with us. Listen to us ramble. A little bit. As we've been doing for hour 45 now.
Yeah,
It's been a very interesting conversation, and I appreciate y'all listening and participating and commenting. It means a lot to me. Thank you.
for sure. We'll be back Thursday with the thing that we talked about last week was confirmed for the D&D podcast.
And I think we may be getting it a lot sooner than they originally intended.
Yep. So I'm sure we'll have thoughts on that as well as some other stuff on the Thursday podcast, which is the D&D podcast. Please look forward to that. And again, if you're watching this on Twitch and you want to see some of the other crazy stuff we put out, because we put out reviews, gameplay footage. I'm currently recording every single time I get to a dungeon or a trial in Endwalker and putting those videos up there. All that stuff is on the YouTube channel at youtube.com/C/The Full Spectrum. If you want to check out our Discord, where we have all kinds of different stuff in there, support us for as little as $1 on Patreon at patreon.com/The Full Spectrum. And you can check out that, or you could just drop us some money if you want to. I mean, that'd be nice. But, you know, we're going to keep making cool stuff. So
Do our best.
we'll be back next Tuesday and, of course, this upcoming Thursday. So please look forward to those. And until next time, I've been Trey.
I've been Rungren.
We've been The Full Spectrum. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that life has to offer.